Okay, hi guys. Um, Contrast. Okay, contrast in design refers to the arrangement of opposite elements. Opposite elements, light versus dark colors, rough versus smooth textures, large versus small shapes, etc. in a one piece of design so as to create a focal point, visual interest, excitement, and drama. Contrast ensures that your design creates a certain tension and beauty. Also, contrast is often used to let the users see the thing you want them to see first or second or third, which means contrast is used to make an emphasis of an design element. You can achieve any of these by using color, like in here. Can you see it? To a dark color. Wait a minute. Green. Okay, like this one here. You can achieve contrast by using color in targeted manner, like in here, or by typeface, like in here, or by shape, like this in here, square between triangle between the square, or by orientation here. Okay, let's see some examples in various fields of design. Okay, bigger the difference, the better emphasis of the object on the design. Here is an example of color contrast in a photography. You are emphasizing the umbrella with colors against the monochrome background. Or like these funny birds. Well, what if the colors are all the same in one piece of art or design? Well, you can achieve contrast with size or orientation or motion. For example, Elliot Avid, the famous photographer, achieved contrast in his photo with motion. In other words, dynamic versus static, dynamic versus static, motion versus stillness, moving object versus not moving objects, physically or metaphorically, both. You can achieve that. Motion meaning the object in a photo or image gives you a sense that it just moved or still moving or just about to move. This kind of dynamic versus static contrast in a photography will give the viewers, as I mentioned, the visual interest, excitement, and drama. For the color contrast, same with these images. Okay. For about what about let me delete. Oh well. Okay. Let me delete it. Okay. For the website examples, the contrast here is the light here and the darker background, or grayscale versus high saturated orange color. Okay, let me remind you something. You do remember that I said the complementary colors are used to make a contrast. bad and good, yes or no, strong or weak, black or white, like the ones I just showed you in the previous slides. To remind you again, two colors, those look at each other, at the are the complementary ones on the color wheel, not the ones that stick together. These are not the ones that look at each other. Those are the complementary colors. So you can choose to use these complementary colors to give your design the visual interest. I found one easy website for choosing opposite colors. Let me show you here. You just choose one color and it gives you the opposite color on the color wheel, 360 and 100% to 0% saturation. Cool, right? Okay. Let's see some contrast design with a size and scale. Here is one with a text size contrast. Big text versus smaller, the tiny texts. Okay, and also here's a cute baby hand, so tiny. Okay, also one with for the website. Here's one with text size contrast and some soft color contrast here going on. Big text. Okay, now you can see it with the beautiful no weight, big text, small texts, and some color and image contrast here going on. Okay, for the contrast in texture, like in this photo with a rough and almost a smooth textured wall. Okay, also it has a color contrast too for this photography. For the app or web design, you can achieve texture contrast by mixing real images and vector illustrations like this in here. The woman's photo and X letter illustration of X letter multiplied on the image with some transparency. Okay, what about hierarchy? Hierarchy is about making sure your design is clear and understandable when displaying information. Clear meaning it should show the most important message first, then the next, then the next. If you're working with large amount of text, hierarchy is especially important. You achieve visual hierarchy also by scale, typography, or by color, and contrast by perspective, the closest one and the farthest. Okay, and also by proximity, space and depth, repetition, and scale and size. Okay, scale meaning larger objects attract more attention, as we just saw the example with contrast with size in the previous slide. Our mind associates size and weight with importance. Important, next important, third important. We think the bigger ones are more important than smaller ones. Okay. Color, well, same. Our eyes are immediately drawn to bold, contrasting pops of colors. Okay, contrast. Well, you know about contrast now. Dramatic shifts in color or size or shape grabs attention. Dark to light, serif to sans serif fonts as an example. Okay, Proximity here, it is used to separate one group of elements, usually with same size or color. This is one group and this one group, close to each other. Group A, group B, like this. Even though they look the same, because they're close to each other, it's divided into two sections, two groups. It is the quickest way to relate or distinguish one group of content from another. Okay, objects that are close in proximity are often associated with each other. Just I said it. Okay. Okay, we will talk about proximity later with Gestalt theories. Okay, for space and depth, people think closer elements are more important than the far ones. In visual design, you can achieve this space and depth with size, like it did, size, or some shadow effects here. Because of the shadow effect, this little square is closer to you than the big black one. Okay, also by size too. Size and saturation. This lighter and small box is far than the big one here. Okay, now let's get into the examples. A poster. You are reading the bigger and darker text first, right? Northern grade. How about Chicago in red? Chicago. That would be the next ones you see, right? That is the hierarchy with color. What about those separate bunch of texts? That's what proximity is going on. Same text, same shape, same size, same typeface, similar looking shaped, similar length, but you see them separately because of the proximity rule. Okay, here is some typography hierarchy with going on the bottom. Okay, just to make things clear, look at this one. You've seen these kind of memes, right? It's about the hierarchy with size and color, color value or weight. You will read this first, and then you will read this, then this one, and you will read this last. Was it right for you? Okay, so instead of these sentences, you put your own design elements to give them hierarchy. When you're finding the hierarchy in your design elements, you have to think which order do you think your viewers should see and use your design. For the web or app design, visual hierarchy is important, of course. Could be one of the most important aspects when designing a web or app interface. Visual hierarchy is closely related with the usefulness, usability, and desirability of the design. We've covered in user experience design theory part a couple of weeks ago. There are millions of websites and pages with unlimited data and information on the internet, right? So to keep the users to your designs, your design should be useful, understandable, clear, and easy to use, and visually attractive and dynamic to win over the people. For this example, they used a different color or kind of italic typeface. For the words they want the users to read first. First you read easy, fun, and efficient, written in color. So you might think what's efficient, and you read the whole sentence in black, in bold, written in bold, and then you get to see the bottom I mean the button for the access to go to next page if you agreed with the sentence you've just read, right? You don't really see those quickly. That's what hierarchy is. Okay, for hierarchy, when it comes to visual hierarchy, there are some keywords you need to know, and that is saccade. It's a fancy way of saying eye movement. It's a rapid movement of the eye between fixation point. Like, well, there are two kinds of saccade, F pattern and Z pattern. You would see this kind of layout in a F, like the F letter. Would you, like here and here, you're drawing an F letter. Are you getting it? Okay. Following heat map demonstrated the F pattern. You read these. It looks like an F, right? Okay. What about Z pattern? You would see this kind of layout. With a Z pattern. You look at this first, look at the menu, and look at the big picture and small articles, and it creates Z. This created F, this creates Z pattern. Very simple. You just place your design elements on these pattern. Okay, so positioning of each design elements, like the logo, menu, title, texts, images, links, and icons, is important to give the audience what they want or need to know quickly and easily. I like this one here with the website. Okay. Well, we are done for today. Okay, see ya.